wanna know his secret?
Alright guys, just got back from watching the Packers game, and I thought I would give you the week recap. My high score extra video will be coming later in the week, but for now I will just recap the week. There may be a couple random stat corrections, but it won't affect any of the matchups. Alright, so for first matchup of the week, we have the replacements, moi. I beat John, return of the Duggernaut, 161.6 to 135 points. I have honorable mention, Antonio Brown. He puts up 31.9 with a line of 5 catches for 91 yards and 3 TDs. I also want to give a shout out to Devontae Adams. Crazy Monday night game for him. 5 catches, 113 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Moving on to our second matchup. Tyler, the Immortals, defeats Zach, the Rocketeer, 145.4 to 130. Point of interest from this game, Khalil Mack. What a beast. 6 tackles. I had a forced fumble and a fumble recovery and a pick 6. I think I saw some stat that said he was the first person to do that since Charles Woodson, who oddly enough played for the Raiders, like 10 or 15 years ago. Moving on to our third matchup, the law firm, Caleb, defeats the big Gronkowski, Mark. Kind of a battle of quarterbacks. Caleb wins 142.1 to 110.6. Caleb gets MVP. Boy, I wonder who's going to get the Superman. MVP Drew Brees. He puts up 35.5. He has 310 yards and 5 total touchdowns. 5 total touchdowns. That is a lot. Mark does get Player of the Week, Kirk Cousins. The Redskins quarterback goes for 32.5. He goes off for 449 yards, the most by any quarterback this week, of course, and 3 touchdowns. One note of interest from this game is that Mark benched Gronk, who got injured and didn't score anything, which would normally be an amazing play, except he played Antonio Gates, who also goose-egged. So tough luck there. You weren't going to win no matter what you did with those tight ends. Our fourth matchup, I want to be a free man. Trevor defeats Leo's Army, 136.3 to 121.1. Leo's Army has now lost 2 in a row, maybe cooling down in front of playoffs. First round bye, it's important, but it may not lead you to a championship. Shout out to Justin Pierre-Paul, 25.5 points, 7 tackles, 3 sacks, a fumble recovery, a forced fumble, and a touchdown. Once again, amazing defensive performance by a defensive end this week. Our final matchup, Gotham City Rogues defeats Luck Angels. Sam beats Cody, 121.9 to 89.8. Not much to say about this matchup other than there were a lot of points on the bench this week from both players. All right, that is it for this week's recap. Later in the week, I will post my just random video. So have a good rest of your night, gentlemen.
Good evening, Man's League. This is my high score part of my video for my most recent victory. I had a rough time coming up with what I wanted to do because I can't really trash talk much this year because I am basically out of playoffs. You may ask why I'm eliminated from playoffs, being as I'm only 1 game behind Trevor, and I'm tied with Zach for record. Well, Trevor only has 20 more points scored than me, so theoretically I could overtake him if I won and he lost. I would need to win, he would need to lose, but the problem is I would need Zach to lose as well, which, if you look at his matchup, his opponent has decided to throw the game yet again. Trevor, I don't know how you feel about that, the idea that you might miss playoffs this year if you lose because of a game being thrown, but I will just leave it at that. So I decided, most of you know I had a pretty crappy draft. Most of my high draft picks definitely did not pan out. So I decided for my high score video to take a little bit of metaphorical revenge on those players who screwed me by, I have a couple of their cards here, cutting up their cards. So let's begin. I'll start with my first two draft picks, Allen Robinson and DeAndre Hopkins. I believe in reverse order, but whatever. Both of them have shat the bed this year. They both now are on other teams who is actually going to end up being this, who is going to end up being the Sacco. Sorry, Sam. But DeAndre Hopkins, Brock Osweiler basically screwed him hard, and Allen Robinson, Blake Bortles is basically better throwing at feet than he is at his receivers. So let's start with DeAndre Hopkins, that first overall pick. You sucked it up, and I'll take a little revenge on you. And we'll move on to Allen Robinson, now in Jacksonville, still sucking it up this year. Not even on pace for half of the touchdowns and yards he had last year. So, there's that. My third one will be my boy from last year, who is no longer my boy this year. He's sitting on my bench in another league, Cam Newton. Boy, I learned my lesson. Don't take quarterback early at all, because he has fallen off the face of the earth and he is barely startable even against bad defenses. So, sorry Cam, I love you, but there's a little bit of rage taken out on you. I've got a fourth one, Eric Decker. I feel kind of bad about this because I do follow him on Twitter and he's a really good guy. And he was doing awesome until like week 5 when he got injured and knocked out for the rest of the season. May not even be ready for next season, but that was one thing that really hurt me, losing my flex like week 5. And the last card I just happened to see, Eric Ansah. He was my defensive end from last year and this year. He got injured, hasn't done anything this year, so you can go goodbye as well. So, sadly, I will not be making a repeat championship, so this bad boy will be going to another house. But in the meantime, I will definitely enjoy all my time with the trophy. You can take that as you will. Have a great rest of your night, gentlemen.